Hey, I'm Veronica Taylor. I'm here with you, Alex. We're at
That's
Ranger
right.
Stop and Pop in Atlanta. It's pretty awesome.
So cool.
I am a big fan of the Anime Egotists, I have to say.
Oh, thank you
And
so much.
I also wanted to say from myself and May, um, you're watching Anime Egotists. And actually, I'm a better trainer than Brendan. Oh, come on, May. A little humility?
And welcome back to the Anime Egotists, the best, worst, and all-around most interesting discussion about anime and its going-ons. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the view, because the Anime Egotist content is made by us, and it's for people like all of you. You got me, Foster, and there's a lot interesting about me, but not a whole lot I'm willing to tell. Well, and I am joined by the man himself.
And I'm Williamson.
That's correct. And if you recall, well, last time we talked about Pokemon Journeys, specifically characters we want to see back.
Yeah, I mean, Pokemon has some really great characters that we've seen for years, some that we haven't seen in years. It just depends again. But for every really great character that we want to see back, there's probably another one that's a little lacking, or we don't agree with what they would do to make them come back.
That's right. So we have another list. Pokemon Journeys, people in Pokemon Journeys who we don't want to see back. Not necessarily. Now, some of these characters are characters that we like, but it's just that we're not really sure how they would fit into Pokemon nowadays or how the writers would fit them in. And some of these are just characters we just don't like. It's just, why would we want characters back that we don't like? It'd be weird. It'd be weird to say that.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting, I think, to go over our lists and the reasons.
Yeah, because a lot of people could, because if some of you who have been around long enough, some of you might remember the video we did of Pokemon characters we don't like. And there were a lot of characters on that list. And so some of these characters are going to be on our list, but we feel like there are different reasons rather than just, oh, we just don't like them. Or at least that's what we tried to do.
Yeah, and as we keep saying, there's a variety of reasons. We'll give our reasons for each character, so don't just get angry and say, "Hey, why do you not want this character?"
Yeah, listen
Unless
to our
they do
reasons.
something, or
Let us listen to our
then
reasons,
get angry.
then get that in the comments, obviously. But I always like to do this. I always like to just give a shout out to our subscribers and our newest subscriber of the day, or just whatever they decide to subscribe, Rafael Jose. Thank you very much for subscribing. We're not sure why you're here. We're not sure, frankly, what you're doing with your time enough to the point where you're like, I'll listen to these guys, but hey, we appreciate the support. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for subscribing.
And I'd also want to give a quick shout out before we begin to Wisp 2007, who had a comment and on our last video of characters we wanted back that actually made me kind of happy. Where they specifically talked about when they rewatched some of our videos, which I'm not sure what are you doing to why are you rewatching our vid? I barely like filming these, so sometimes things rewatching them can be a little bit of a hassle. But in all honesty, thank you. That made my night when I read that yesterday.
Yes, it was very kind of you.
Yes. Now let's enough with the mushy feelings. Let's get into the characters we don't want back. And I believe I started last time, so would you like to start us off?
Sure. So I'm going to start off with Silent. He is probably my least favorite traveling companion Ash ever had. I just found him boring. They brought him to replace Brock kind of in the way because, okay, he's the first gym leader. He's the cook. He doesn't necessarily want to battle all the time. It's just he's Brock, but even less. And at least Tracy had his own things. They pretty much just copied Brock and changed which things he was really aspiring to, and I don't like that.
Yeah,
if they had probably made his own character, he probably would have been fine.
Yeah, Brock was horny for women. Silent was horny for food, which is fair, but still, yeah.
Yeah, and I just don't want him to come back. This is kind of my one that I don't have a really good reason, mainly because I didn't watch much of this series, but he's just boring, plain, and kind of on his own. I just don't really care for him, so I don't think he would make the best companion to come back.
Okay, I agree with everything, but I actually have a legitimate reason why I wouldn't want Silent back.
Okay.
You know the thing we always talk about in terms of Ash's goal to be a Pokemon master? What's our biggest complaint about that we've kind of realized by doing these videos?
We have no idea what it actually is.
Exactly. They've never accurately explained what the hell a Pokemon master is supposed to be. Now, the thing is, going back and looking at Black and White, they don't really explain what a Pokemon connoisseur is supposed to be either. It's seemingly even less vague, even more vague. Like, it doesn't... So, unless they were able to expand on that idea and tell us what the hell it is, and give us a better idea, I wouldn't want Silent back. I don't want characters back just to say, hey, they're back.
Mm-hmm. I probably would have grouped him with Iris, because I don't like Iris either, just because Ash is supposed to have been at least somewhat more competent growing up in these series, but they pushed him back, and then she just kind of always, oh, you're such a kid, or something along those lines, all of the time. But when I was first writing this list, it was before we got the new Japanese opening, which kind of spoiled some things, so she's off the list now.
Yeah, that's exactly what I... Because I didn't want to put characters on that were already confirmed. At most, I'd want to make them honorable mentions, but I did my best to stay away from that.
Yeah, so since I know Iris is coming back, she's not included here, but Silent, I'm sorry, you're probably a great guy, dude, but I still have no idea what you actually want to be, and just don't come back.
It's okay, Silent, and you can be on the podcast if you want, as long as you just keep it in your pants. Just relax. We're not that excited to
Maybe
talk
bring
about
some food.
Yeah, that too. Okay, so my character?
Go straight ahead.
Okay, this is going to be a little bit of an odd one, and some of you could say, oh, it'd be great promotion for this, but I'm just going to do is say it. Todd Snap. Is that his name?
Yes, and I actually had him on my list as well.
God, son of a bitch. Okay, so some of you might be thinking, oh, well, wouldn't it be great to see him back so he could do the promotion thing for the new Pokemon Snap game coming out? And I'd be thinking, in a way, yes. But also, his character was... I don't know. Part of the thing for me is I don't really see that his character... It's a weird way of saying this, but Pokemon characters have kind of evolved a lot since the first series. They have a lot more dimension and depth to their characters, and Todd did not really have that. And unfortunately, I feel like it's kind of like from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to Power Rangers Megaforce. Megaforce acknowledged, pretty much beaten to the ground, hey, we're doing just like the original, without really updating anything. And unfortunately, I get the feeling that Todd Snap would come back as the exact same character he used to be. And frankly, it worked back then, but I just don't think it would work right now. So it's not the best reason, but it is a reason that if you think about it for a little bit, I'd hope you could understand my point.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that the only reason that they would bring him back at this point is to use him as promotion for Pokemon Snap. I don't think we've had other characters who like to take pictures of Pokemon.
Heck, we have Trevor. We have Trevor for that. Just bring we said Trevor in the last video. Just use him for that.
So, yeah, I really don't think bringing someone in just to promote a new game, a new side game that, while heavily requested by the fan base to have this game come back, to try to promote it through the anime is kind of iffy in this case, I would imagine.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about that too. I was also thinking about the list we did beforehand, and I said I wanted... Because it's funny that you say just to promote a game, but at the same time I was thinking to myself, if they brought back a Pokemon Ranger, I wouldn't be against it. But the thing is, that's a profession. That's that's an actual job or career, whatever you want to call it, to some extent. how much like Pokemon photography just doesn't really. I don't know, because remember last time we talked about, oh, maybe this character could give Go motivation to go, or Chloe motivation to do this career path or that career path. I don't think either of them at the end of the series are going to be like Pokemon photography.
Yeah, I just don't see a good reason other than they would try to promote the game
Yeah,
to bring
but
Todd in. So
yeah, plus his personality just seems kind of outdated nowadays. But yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's it.
And as we said, we have had other characters, Trevor, and I think there's one more that also like to take pictures of Pokemon that have sense and have more character development than Todd did.
Yeah. Anyways, he's the first one on my list. Who's up for you?
All right. So I'm going to go with Morrison. He was on my list for my least favorite characters. This one kind of has an asterisk, mainly because after speaking with you about it and going over and remembering what we said in that video, I still don't like him as a character, but that could change if they bring him in for like towards the end of the series. Not how to put it. If they bring him in and actually develop him as a character other than, oh, he's kind of just competitive. Okay. And he's a rival for Ash. If they give him more depth and build him up as a character in the series and if they make him a rival for Ash again, maybe I would like him more. But unless they actually develop him, I have no reason for him to come back. There were much better rivals for him, for Ash.
Okay, to an extent, I kind of feel like that's why he should come back for depth and development. But also, what my thing is, he was always wearing like samurai gear, like he had kimonos and everything. I want him to come back with a sword.
Well, we have gotten Pokemon with guns thanks to one of the movies, but I don't think they'll happen again.
And there are Pokemon that are literally swords, so that would be perfect. But I do understand your point. Like, if they're not going to do more with him, because I still argue that he should have showed up in the series in advance through Battle Frontier, I argue that he should have showed up far more than he did. And even in Battle Frontier, when Ash didn't really have a rival at that point. But I can understand it. So, don't bring back characters just to bring back characters. I understand that.
Yeah, that's kind of where he's at. All the other rivals at least had something, it seemed like, or at least most of them did.
Yeah, okay. So, is that it for you?
Yeah, that's kind of it for him.
Okay, my next character, Looker. There's nothing really for Looker to do at this point, because the past couple of evil teams haven't really been evil teams. Not Professor, oh god. Team Skull are basically just thugs. They're not really all that dangerous. There's no point for him to... There would have been no point for him to investigate him doing anything with them. And if they put... What's it called? Team Yell? That's what they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Team Yell? They're annoying, but... Like, they're nuisances, but they're not really all that bad. So, I feel like Looker would be, like, just for Team Rocket. Like, maybe he finally discovers, Team Rocket are the bad guys, despite the fact that they pretty much helped get rid of Team Galactic. There just wouldn't be a whole lot for Looker to do. Not to mention, I don't know. Considering he is part of the police force... That you could argue that could be a good thing, but just with everything going on in the world right now, maybe leave. Maybe the less police figures, the better.
I don't know. I could see them bringing him back for something along the lines more of him investigating, something. Again, you said Team Rocket. How they're doing these big kidnapping. Things like that one episode in Journeys. So if he starts investigating not our Team Rocket, but like the overall organization, I could see them bringing him back. But I can understand why they probably also wouldn't, just because he has. When was the last time we saw him in the anime? I'm trying to remember.
Was it Unova?
He probably came back sometime in that.
Black and white. So
didn't watch. So.
Yeah, I feel like at one point we're just gonna have to sit down and review Pokemon.
As long as we can skip the freaking opening.
But it's the worst part is it's like the shortest. It's like one of the shortest openings in the anime's history, and you're just like, no, that's okay.
Stay tuned for more videos.
That's right. But anyways, the Looker, it's not the best. It's overall not the most exciting reason, but it's okay. Yeah, black and white. Okay, hey, but I don't know. I feel like there wouldn't be that much for him to do, considering the villainous teams have kind of taken a step down in terms of villainy lately.
Yeah, I mean, it is strange that we've gone 2 full generations now without an actual evil team. I mean, we had kind of Aether Foundation was bad in the first Sun and Moon games, but then no, the second games, oh no, they're good guys, just they're not the best at being good.
Yeah, Ultra Sun and Moon was kind of a mess. But anyways, Looker, that's it for me. I'm putting a pin in it.
All right. So let's see. My next one, I'm going with another one of Ash's rivals, and again, this is from my perspective of like the 4 or 5 episodes I've seen of him, and that's Tripp.
I knew Tripp was going to be on your list.
He's literally it feels like they couldn't decide what to do with his character. He's so bland by comparison to most of Ash's other rivals. He's a jerk, but he's not a like full dick like some of his other ones, but he's also not as like friendly like the other, like some where he would be a friendly rival. So there's just not a good way of saying where he is. He's a neutral rival. It's like, okay, I want someone who's either the exact opposite of Ash or similar enough that they're rivals and butting heads because of it.
Okay, so contrary to popular belief, I don't hate Tripp. I don't think Tripp is that bad of a rival. But I guess well, first of all, I think they could have made him a little funnier. Like it's not that they made him serious. It's just that they didn't really give him. It felt like the writing did not help him in the slightest. Mm-hmm. And 2, one of the things I remember is he didn't like Ash because Ash was from Pallet Town, because Ash was from the country. Which, when you think about it from a real world perspective, that's that kind of elitist attitude is both sad yet kind of hilarious. Yes, but yeah, I don't really see how much he could bring to the table. Like, I don't really know what more he can do.
There's really, I mean, if you think about it, there's nothing he can. How to put it? He's not in either extreme enough to be funny, as like he's a little bit on the more aggressive side, so we can have him have issues having Pokemon follow his orders or something, but he's not the friendly rival, so we can't really have him come back that way either. So there's just not a good place, especially in the way Journeys has been written so far, that he fits, I would say.
Also, remember, he takes pictures of Pokemon too. But to be honest, I'd rather have him than Todd. Tripp had a little more of a personality than Todd did.
I guess so. I as I said, I've only seen like the first 4 episodes of him being in the show, and it's just like, oh, he's hates Ash. Oh, okay, nah, but he's not a dick. Okay, and then and he's back. Oh, and he's gone. Oh,
I mean, to be fair, to be fair, if we were in the show, I don't think we'd like Ash very much either.
I know, but at least we probably would have either done something or, well, probably involving robbing him, but that's for another story.
Goodness gracious. Okay, so you talk about a rival who you don't want back because he was bland. So, oh boy. So anything else you want to say, please? So I don't have to...
No, go ahead.
Shit. Okay, look. If you've known this channel, I'm just going to say it. Drew. Look, if you know this channel long enough, if you know me well enough, you know I'm not the biggest fan of Drew, who... one of May's biggest rivals, but to me the problem with Drew was he almost never won a contest on screen. He was either eliminated from the contest by the rival of the day, and then May beat the rival of the day, and he's like, I'm still better than you. I'm like, really? You just lost to this other person who we're never going to see again. What makes you so good? Or he won off screen. I feel like maybe he won one contest on screen.
I always picture that he went home, cried, and then handmade his own ribbons so that he can he could say he's a winner.
Yeah. I must make ribbon so people will like me. We still don't, but still. Well, and some of you might be thinking, well, you said you wanted May back, so wouldn't having Drew back be necessary? No, not necessarily. Because think about it this way. Harley was a good rival because he was so antagonistic, and even when he lost, he still pretty much hated May. Now, you could argue maybe he earned her respect down the line, but there was still an antagonistic feeling between them. Drew and May kind of just ended on more or less sort of friendly-ish terms. Part of what made their dynamic, I guess to some people, interesting was how often they would bicker with each other. But here's the thing. I don't suspect, because remember, when May left, she said, I want to go to Johto with everybody else. Do you really think that the past several years that Ash has been training and going off into different regions, they've all just so magically happened to be all going to the same region? Don't you think that'd be a little strange how we just said, oh, we're all rivals, but let's all go to the same region together? So I don't think their dynamic would be that interesting enough to change, and I just don't think I think his character was a tad overrated, and I just don't want to see him again.
I can understand it, though. Yeah, he was kind of the elite. He was supposed to be the elite rival for May, and being the one that is always a step ahead of her, kind of like how Gary was in the first series to Ash. So he's always supposed to be a little bit better, even though he probably loses, as you said, a lot.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Gary, that's the thing. That's the thing I understand, because it's gym battles, one trainer versus one trainer. So it makes sense that Gary had all these badges, even though he had 10 badges at one point, which was never really all that addressed. But Drew seemingly was in a bunch of different contests May was in, and he lost us. I felt like a lot. Or when she won, it's like, oh, you're still not better than me. I'm like, motherfucker, do you have nothing better to do than just harass this 10-year-old? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but I can understand. Yeah, I think they didn't fully take him to the point where if they had shown him winning the first contest there that in the region, and then having him beat May in her first contest or something to show, and then they never face off against each other until they get to the cup or whatever. I think that could have worked a lot better.
They didn't even try making him have a meltdown moment until the very end of his time in Battle Frontier, and by that point I'm just like, but if he's so good, why is it, whatever, never mind, forget it.
Yeah. So since I don't have an honorable mention now, I'm gonna have to take this one that I was gonna be my honorable mention, which is Madame Much Money.
Was she the lady with the snubble?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. Wait a minute. That character doesn't sound familiar. I'm like, oh wait, sure, fine, sure.
The only reason I'm including her here is just because I just remember her being so obnoxious. I know that she's supposed to have some sort of growth because she's supposed to learn the value of stuff other than money through while Snubble's chasing Meowth. And she's chasing Snubble.
Sure.
But
okay.
All I just remember is that not liking her character, and there being at least 3 episodes, I think, with her. So since she's a recurring character, I put her on my list.
Okay, I don't have any. I honestly don't have that much to say. That all I can say is, out of all the characters we've talked about, whether we want them to return, whether we don't want them to return, I think she's the least likely. I don't think anybody in the writing department's like, yeah, let's bring her back.
You never know anymore with this series, especially. Unfortunately, she fits the right comedic style, especially with Snubble to come back. Or I think it may have evolved at the end of the series. With her, I don't really remember.
I was about to say, Johto's your territory. Shouldn't you know that?
It's been years since I actually watched the anime.
Yeah,
I
that's
played the
fair.
games plenty, but I haven't.
Yeah, but like I said, I have nothing to say. I have nothing to add to that. I guess I co-sign.
Yeah, I mean, I could see her coming back if they really wanted to make Meowth suffer for an episode, but I
Which
hope
is,
not.
yeah. Okay, so we're not still in honorable mentions, are we? Or
No, that was just mine that I turned off. So you should have one more, and then you'll do your honorable mention since I don't have any.
okay, so I'm gonna. This is gonna be a little bit of a weird one. Lyra and Corey.
Okay.
Do you remember these characters?
Yes, they were brought in to kind of do what we talked about with Snap, with Todd Snap, but for the Heart Gold and Soul Silver remakes. They're
Yeah,
the
exactly. Because I guess my thing is a lot of people could be saying, "Oh, well, with Pokemon Masters, don't you want to do like a tie-in with that?" I'm like, you could do that with literally any other characters. What makes Lyra so special? But here's the thing: I feel like we got just the right amount of what we need with Lyra because we got like 4 or 5 episodes with her, and she wasn't. I'm not going to say she was an amazing character, but they did a pretty good job making her at least not boring. Hey. And plus, one of the running jokes with her is that she'd always call Dawn Dane, which no one really seemed to correct. No one ever said, you know her name is Dawn,
I
right?
think Dawn did it once, and that was it.
And just never did it again. It's like in the league when Rafi calls Kevin Brian. Just nobody addresses it. We're all just fine with it. And my thing is, here's the thing: if Dawn isn't going to come back, then don't bring this character back because that was probably one of her. It was one of her funnier running gags. The only other running gag that she really seemed to have was what she didn't panic all that often, even when they were in danger, and the fact that she basically was the shipper of the group. That she's like, "So, Dawn, do you like Ash? What? Do you like Brock? What? Like Dawn seemed downright uncomfortable with those questions at times. I don't really know how she would pull it off there, especially just since I don't know. It's especially since it's just Ash and Go. I don't see her being like, so Go, do you like Ash? Which would I guess open doors and break down barriers, which would be amazing. But it doesn't seem like they'd be going in that direction.
Yeah, I can't disagree or agree just because she had a relationship with Ash, but I do agree that she was definitely more centered with Dawn as her contemporary kind of that was where the character was really developed in that part of the series.
And Corey is basically his main connection seemed to be with Lyra and also at times Brock because he seemed to look up to Brock at times. But if Brock's not going to be back, then what's the point of bringing him back?
Yeah.
Plus, he felt like Clement, but just not as well developed. Which is fine. He had 5 episodes. I'm not saying he had to be a perfect character, but you understand what I mean.
Yeah, he was just kind of there.
Yeah.
If there had been more time, he probably would have been a much better character, but we didn't.
Yeah, they might be on my Pokemon characters that I like list if we ever get around to doing that video and make it not like an hour and 45 minutes, because that last video was so long.
We're closing in on an hour already on this video.
Shit! So. Okay, all right, yeah. So I'm Lyra and Corey. What? Sure. Next. Go.
I don't have any honorable mentions, so it's up to you.
Oh, son of a bitch!
You took all mine. I'll let you know if I think of one while you're going over yours.
Okay, I know you love this Pokemon or character, but I'm going to say Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff. They've exhausted almost every joke with Jigglypuff. It sings. It draws on someone's face. Every now and then it finds a Pokemon. It finds a Pokemon or a trainer that listens to it and likes it singing. There's not a whole lot to do with it. Not to mention it's incredibly overpowered, and it wouldn't make the series battles all that interesting. So, Jigglypuff.
I wouldn't mind it coming back for one episode. Go attempts to catch it. It sings, draws on his face, and then we never see it again. I think that would be fine.
I guess, but I don't anticipate them doing that. I anticipate popping up every few episodes, and I'd get so sick of it.
Yeah, if they bring it back now, they'd probably bring it back as the episode to episode where it's always going to interfere at least once an episode.
Yeah. Okay, another character. Lucy from the Battle Frontier. As much as I would love to see more representation from Battle Frontier and from Hoenn, Lucy isn't it. Primarily because despite battling Ash, her interest and character didn't really lie with Ash. It more aligned with Brock being one of the few girls who actually seemed to like him back. Yeah, and who he generally likes, because every now and then there'd be a girl who was like a couple years younger than him and he wouldn't show interest, but she would still like him. As much as I love Brock and Lucy's dynamic, if he's not going to show up, there's no point in bringing her back. Not to, for her to just say, "So is Brock still around?" And Ash would be like, "Oh, that's right, we're in Kanto. I can visit him." Like you couldn't have visited him all the other times you were, whatever. Do you have anything for that, or?
I'll have to go. So I don't remember her character at all.
Oh goodness. And so my next honorable mention.
Yes, go right ahead.
Professor Birch. On the one hand, I love Professor Birch. I like his laid back attitude. I love that he's voiced by Dan Green of all people, who's incredible. Well, I really like Professor Birch, and I do think his laid back personality would kind of work with Pokemon Journeys, despite the fact that his laid back personality would have worked with Alola too. But Professors returning, I don't know what they would be doing at this point besides just researching Pokemon. I don't remember his goals being that much different from any of the other professors, so I wouldn't really know what the point in bringing him back would be.
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember, because each professor is supposed to have some sort of research. I know Oak is he's researching all Pokemon. Then you have Elm is researching Pokemon breeding. I don't remember what Birch is. I think Rowan is like the
I thought his was evolution, like legendaries or evolutions or something like that. Yeah. Oh, the only thing I remember about Professor Birch was mainly just that he seemed to be a really dangerous driver, which could be hilarious, but I just don't see the point. Not unless he's going to acknowledge, hey, I have a son who wants to be a Pokemon trainer. What's his name? Brendan. I was like, you've never brought him up before. It's like, I've never had reason to. I'm just like, what the father of the year? Way to go. Way to go, you jerk.
But yeah, during this time, I actually struggled to find this list because for the most part, I think we both agree we like most Pokemon characters.
Absolutely, and speaking from my perspective, I didn't want to just list characters I hate. Except this last honorable mention, Gligar Man. I never want to see Gligar Man again. If I ever see Gligar Man on my TV again, I will go to Pokemon headquarters and just stare at them until they feel sorry for themselves. Forever bring back this trash-ass Chunibyo superhero wannabe monkey I don't like Gligar Man at all.
That's good, because he died a few months ago. We now have Gliscor Man.
More. Did it say how Gligar Man died? Not that I had anything to do with it, or...
He just jumped off a building trying to save their life, but kind of disappeared after that for a month, and then we got Gliscor Man, so we assume he just evolved now.
Oh, good God. You know what? Blaziken Mask was far more interesting, despite the fact that he had no reason to hide his identity or anything. It's not like supervillains were coming after him. Anyways... Well, who's your last character/characters, however you want to phrase it?
All right. So this one, we've kind of already touched on it because of a few of yours, and that's companion rivals on their own. Because
you're going to have to be a little more specific, buddy.
It's all of May's rivals, all of Dawn's rivals. Those, like Lyra, like them, where they had a connection with one of the side characters. If they don't bring the side characters back and do whatever they need to do to develop them before bringing these characters in, it's just like, oh, okay, if you haven't seen the series, you're kind of out of luck. They're just kind of here now for an episode.
Yeah, I can especially considering, like I said, especially with Silent, we still don't know what the hell a Pokemon connoisseur, like what the checklist is for anything. And also, I just don't I remember like one rival Silent had, and that's it.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, like, because you said there's just they have good rivals and they have good relationships with Ash's traveling companions. But a lot of times they didn't have a relationship with Ash, or it was only one or two interactions for anything. It's like, if Ash didn't have a relationship, I don't see why they need to come back unless we've already brought that other character in for an episode, and now we're getting a second episode with. If we get a second episode with Dawn, we can get an episode with Lyra at that point. But
Yeah.
that's because it's their relationship we'll be seeing, and we've already got Dawn. We can, oh yeah, I remember her now, kind of thing. But
Yeah, yeah. The only way I would disagree with you in that sense is because I talked about on my list last time, Tierno, Trevor, and Shauna, and you said, well, Shauna's more of Serena's rival than she would be Ash's rival, which in a sense I agree with. But considering they all went to Pokemon Camp together, which I don't know, I still don't understand why Pokemon Camp hasn't been a thing in real life, but still,
it probably has, but only in Japan.
Jesus Christ, they get everything. Okay, hey, but still, like, you could tell, like, it's not that they weren't friends. Like, they were all friends before they became rivals. Plus, if Tierno and Trevor show up and they're the only two, people are going to be wondering, wait, what happened to Shauna?
Yeah, and that one's one of those different ones, but I'm thinking, like, okay, let's have Ash enter a contest and have Harley there. No May. And just because he's showing Go some other form of battling or showing someone else that there's other ways of doing Pokemon, it's like, okay, well, Ash entered contests on the occasion, but it was never a serious thing for him.
Yeah, could you imagine May's reaction if she saw, and the final round, Harley versus Ash, she'd just be thinking, it's like his second contest ever, and he's making the finals. I've scratched and you see, this is why I'm not coming back, people. It's because of writing like this. I'll be in my trailer.
But you see what I mean, though. Like, if
No,
they bring
I understand.
May in, then you can bring Harley in, or Dawn and one of her rivals. I always forget all of her rivals' names because it's been a while since I've watched them.
I was about to say Dawn and Zoe.
There you go.
Yeah, like I said, Dawn, Zoe, maybe Nando. Well, Ursula, I feel like the more I rewatch, I feel like she wasn't as bad as I thought, but I still don't really care for Kenny because of the stunts he pulled at the end. But I understand what you mean. Some of them I'd be fine with, but yeah, you're right. Right. If you're going to bring back the rivals, bring back the characters they're most well associated with.
Yep. And so there's one more I wanted to just mention that I didn't want back, but I already know is coming back because it's probably going to be in the next part of the series. And that's Sophocles. Unless his head was on a pike.
Jeez.
Then you can bring him back.
Good Lord. You're so violent with these characters. But no, I don't like Sophocles either.
Although he did apparently have a rival that I only remember seeing in one episode that I also liked even less than him. So
yeah, anyways. But my last character?
Go right ahead.
Max. Now, if most of you might recall, May was like the number one character I'd wanted to come back, because it's been like one of the longest amounts of time a character has been gone. Well, besides Tracy, but that's a little different. Anyways, part of my thing with Max isn't just because I don't like him. Not because he's annoying, not because he's a know-it-all, not because, frankly, he's just not that interesting of a character. But let's think about this. Max's goal to be a Pokemon trainer. But they always said he's too young, which, once again, toddlers are Pokemon trainers, but whatever. If you're not going to age the characters, he's not any closer to his goal. You understand what I mean? Like, what possible steps how much closer could he be now if they're not going to show that he's aged at some point? And part of my thing also is, I feel like part of the thing that might upset me is they might do like a little bit of an Ash syndrome. Like a good amount of the Pokemon that he's interacted, he could have forgotten about, despite the fact that, let's see, there was Jirachi, but we don't know if that was canon, and Ralts, which, like I said, if he's not going to show up or mention that Ralts or any way, shape, or form, something along those lines, and he's not going to advance anymore towards his goal, what's the point? Especially since he was such a controversial, such a disliked character.
I can agree with that. I mean, that's the thing with Pokemon. They proved that they can do younger characters well when they did Bonnie a few years later. And the rules that they had set up for Max, they kind of ditched those for her. Now, maybe it's different region rules, but she's having Clement catch her Pokemon for her. Why wasn't May? Hey, May, can you catch this Ralts for me, and I'll take care of it until I'm able to actually be his trainer.
Would you catch a Pokemon for Max?
I mean, as a sibling, probably, but Although I can't. I think that was early on, so may have only caught one other Pokemon at this time. I don't really remember.
No, but I do understand and that like it seems kind of odd that they changed up so like how Bonnie and Max seem to have a different set of rules that apply to them.
Yeah, and I can understand some people actually do find Bonnie annoying just because it's a little kid. She has those moments, but Max had them almost every single episode. But he was also pretty much a smart ass.
Yeah, and not the funny type of smartass. Like you can write a smartass character if they're funny, but I don't remember him ever making me laugh.
No, he was more. I'm smarter than you, even though I have never caught a Pokemon, never been in a battle. I know more than you.
Yeah, well, I think the real reason he was so cocky is because they told him at one point, "Hey, dude, you're getting your own movie." Like the second he learned Jirachi Wishmaker was going to be his movie, he got a big head about it. Little piece of crap.
And we still haven't gotten game character movies.
We gotta talk about that. We gotta talk about that at some point. I don't know if it's gonna be its own individual video or whatever, but we it upsets me, and I know it upsets a lot of people, but it upsets me, and that's the biggest travesty.
Yep.
Anyways, do we have anything else that?
No, I think we covered. As we said, some of these characters aren't that bad.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how they would bring them back. We just have theories about them. Who knows? Maybe these characters will come back and they'll prove us wrong, or they'll prove us right, because we tend to be right every now and then.
Yeah, I mean they're yeah, especially with this series, it's kind of all over the place. Some episodes are like, "Oh wow, that was really good," and then others are like, "WTF? What the fuck did I just watch?"
Yeah, yeah, like the Slow King episode in Journeys.
Ash does not need to have an English accent. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. But let us know what you guys think. What characters do you not want back? Notice there are a lot of obvious we talked a little bit about characters we wouldn't want back last time, and some of those characters weren't on our list because, yeah, that's some characters just. What's the point in even addressing them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, like we didn't put Serena on either of these lists, which I feel like that's going to upset both people. Like the people who love her are going to wonder why they weren't on the last list, and people who hate her are wondering why they aren't on this list. Especially since we seem to rip on her quite a bit.
And I mean, she's actually a good character. It's just she's been on the show recently by comparison to a lot of other characters. It's kind of why I'm kind of annoyed that they went with the Alolan characters. This is kind of like the first major crossover. I know it's probably because they could get the voice actors back really quickly.
Right. Then again, that's also why we didn't put Brock and Misty on either of our lists, because we love Brock and Misty, but we literally just saw them like 50-something episodes ago.
Yeah, and there are other characters that were friends and were very important to the anime when they were in the series and haven't been seen in hundreds of episodes now. So
yeah, which is why May was on my list. And Richie. But anyways, any characters that you guys don't want on the show, any characters that were on our list that you have reasons why you'd want them to come back, or different reasons for why you wouldn't want them, just let us know. Let's hear some interesting talk. And like we said, these are opinions. Just be cool. Just be cool about it.
Yep.
And tune in for our next. Our next videos, which are something or other.
We might be finally finishing up with our least favorite Japanese and English openings.
Oh yeah, those are going to be fun to talk about. Oddly enough, there are about one or two Pokemon themes on my list, because Pokemon has some fantastic theme songs, but some of them are not that. Anyways, check us out next time. This has been Foster.
And Williamson.
And this has been the Anime Egotist. And with the Anime Egotist, if you disagree, you're wrong. And you probably won't be in the anime, like a good majority of the game characters. It hurts, but what are you gonna do?